purse. Being the new redefined majority shareholder, Rise Star Church's name for the Federal Reserve is the purse. It will be delegated in equality and fairness as follows. With the increase of revenue by coupling bids in businesses, the sin offering purchasing in the candlestick game reserve, and the entertainment value in the veiled channeling, I delegate an increase in food stamps and cash benefits of welfare for every registered American. A majority of it will work like the bread of heaven, manna, in scriptures. About the time in the wilderness where the portion not used will disappear at the end of the day, week, or month, depending upon the individual's welfare case. This will work as a hollowing tool for covetousness, if needed, and when individuals have more than enough, they can share or help those in need in their communities. This is why everyone, even the wealthy of today, get these welfare benefits. Another main concept is all work must come to a Sabbath rest. Individuals will have recoup time to plan the start of a new work, maybe God's Star Rising purpose through them for all. Money was created to build society and instill work ethic for individuals until Star Rising work comes that God created them for. Money will no longer exist completely outside of the game reserve veil. Material things outside the games will work by more of a purpose for the games and on a timeshare basis. Money like crime, sin offerings in the games will be a hollowing tool and veil cover for the immature. Remember, we are playing catch up to the goal of immature only being around 12 in age and under. As the immature are always around us, we need better ways to track statistical numbering and veil the fact of this adult money game for purpose. This is no physically seen different. There's no physically seen difference between those inside the games or those outside of them. An individual may, in a particular environment, have the knowledge about everyone there involved. A suggestion would be our state identification cards with the dual purpose of debit or credit card / how numbers even apply to the person for the time and purpose. Numbers will always exist for an individual's evaluation, benefit, and statistics for people as a whole. Conducive growth will be further defined. A person from childhood through Rise Star Veil and Star Rising Game Reserve Veil will by the system have recorded any benefit they contributed to the whole system of government. System balances of accountability will be put in place this way, making vampire effect hosts impossible and only a work of the past. Outside the game reserve, the individual's benefits will be calculated through their lifetime up to that point in fairness to determine return work in the games, vacations, retirement, or the hollowed goal of no dollars apply. Timeshare for vacations and game works can increase inequality to an individual's vision sought by competitive standards, and by grace, people's efforts of participation will get their chances in more games. The STARS program. The real purposeful work of all is the STAR program, combining this spiritual layered work with the coupling. This priest compares it to Revelation's handheld stars, in combination with the candlestick's table inner chamber and the 6 steps leading up to the king's throne, as well as to the Lord. It starts with Rise Star Church's game reserve of others' focused perceptions of their work duties, the cloud. But they're really there for the only true job. Rise Star Church's coupling business in all business, along with layered possible star rising. Comparing earthly and spiritual, as expressed earlier, a person coming to Rise Star veil of sexuality would be the earthly water baptism. The star rising of the star program then is considered the Holy Spirit baptism for Rise Star Church. The 7 stars of this program are the Holy Spirit directed congregational writ worker, Egypt wrestling divided of enforcement and watchmen, priest, entertainers, governing politicians, and job is already taken, this generational arc, making the new image on the mountain. New heaven and earth. New heaven and earth, and I would say a combination of all 6 other stars in the evening of love and the King's Pot coupling. The enforcement and criminals, Egyptian wrestling projection instills values, morals, hollows the fleshly nature, and cures faux forness, reflective judgment for immature. This Egyptian wrestle can do all this, and together with the drive of life coupling makes the correct godly pressures for star rising. Under the new management of Rise Star Church, as expressed, the immature may take a slower process, moving up the ranks of criminal to the division of law and righteousness, watchmen, and eventual law enforcement, which is Egypt up to this point. The game reserve coupling is narrowed down, nor road to children funneled down through the threshing floor candlesticks for individuals wrestling pressures to find God's ordained purpose and success of star rising. The narrowed coupling pinpointed to a child helps the child with their chastity chase for natural Rise Star expression and foundation installation. For the individual chasing up Nor Road, this makes perfect battle in faux forness to earn the love from another in competitive drive of life. Inverted position baptism, not meant yet for God's star rising baptism. The new image now says, let's get to the revelation of revolution. Onto revolution of revelations. In other words, more than one arc in a generation. This means you have to help me, or let me lead in evening out the world in love. What are you warring with? Righteous cloud. A cloud of confusion around Rise Star Church. Cloud of confusion around Rise Star Church uses unrighteous manipulation, deception, and terrorism to capitalize over unknowing others, hiding these controls from the rest of America. These hosting dictator organizations pick sides according to agenda or their profits. It is time by perceptive word to pull these sixth-hour works from everywhere to the only rehabilitation-controlled candlesticks within the game reserve. Accountability observed by all mature America. Unveiled channeling entertainment. Your questioning perceptions of arcs funneled toward the only true job of blessing Rise Star coupling to Rise Star Rising purposes. Is the righteous cloud touching within the game reserve from outside of it for tithe of God, or you can say for the unknown? There should be as little interference from outside to inside the game as possible. What I call a mini stir. Like the oar of a boat directing it through the water. Those inside the game's veil will be, by general perception, be testing by the wrestlings of Egypt, the enforcement side and the crime projection side of the watchman. Shadow. Those viewing from the outside of setting any mini stairs should think of the games more like a pot of ideas and prophecy determination that we can drop questions into. There is a major difference between a lie or manipulation and a possible imagination, or before revelation coming into reality. Those in governing positions, candlesticks, and consensus of mature America will regularly determine this outside of games interaction for benefit to all parties, bipartisan in a tithe manner. For more tithe of God, those within the game will be veiled to the people outside the game by being blind to their arrangements, consensus, viewing, and participations. Those considered outside the game reserve veil, who happen to be participating in a game, will be veiled like the rest, depending, of course, upon work being done, bought sin offering, or coupling chance. This overall picture of the game reserve, according to governing or rehabilitation, naturally organizes divisions of arc inversions. Arc divisions by judgment will happen within the game reserve, making two layers. Evaluations of the inside division from the outside will create more division on the outside, making the third and fourth layers of the inversion to a one mind and body process. Rise Star Church will be looking for the 12 separate tribes divided by the 10 commandments for the judgment that funnels the righteousness of the 7 fleshly spirits into the love of God foremost, through the love of your neighbor as yourself, into those last 4 beast layers of division that finally invert back to the new heaven and earth with healing, signs and wonders, and a idealistic hollowness. Who's counting anyway? Presidential program. The presidential program is a hedge of protection that started out in opposition that Rise Star Church is making as defense for members' activities and for the main priest James Michael Francis Lopes. Me. I am most of the time in public areas, moving around a city on foot and partially walking from city to city. I am the main priest of a church that deals with the most controversial acts and subjects in creation that some can view as most hated or feared. This combination makes safety a concern and a challenging task, but makes a perfect experimentation work in process. As I am making it, this projection program is being duplicated for the President of the United States similar government security risk individuals in the public sight and is now for rent to yourself or your organization through proper government agencies by Rise Star Church. It is taken from the perspective of attacks coming against the mercy seat on the ark and the battle of AI. Besides the Secret Service's techniques, the best overall explanation of the many parts I can give is every evil intention, modern organized infiltration process, and unlawful act anywhere in the world leading here to the church is already set up, easily accessible, what I call the web. There's no space in between not accounted for. These easily accessible ways are lured tales around my congregational rehabilitation candlesticks. If any enemy does not stop and crosses the statute's lines, then they have two choices: sign rehabilitation paperwork or go to jail. I have the most advanced secretarial relay information system that has multiple purposes of a security perimeter, individual intentions testing, and character filing. It is the most modern spy equipment. It is called the Mind Skull, and to relay information from hundreds of yards away, it shoots audio or visual into your head, bypassing ears and eyes directly to the synapses of your brain. You hear or see what is relayed while anyone next to you has no way of knowing. For security, it tests by masquerading as your own thought at lower frequencies to see how you're led or react to ideas. To send back information, we have a CAT scan device that pre-records like a fingerprint brain synapse routes of activity to a computer file. After the file has enough pre-recorded brain activity concerning what you saw, heard, and said, you think back as a computer matches the synapse route activity to the file to determine what you thought back. By the way, everyone in America has in process a pre-recorded file of your vocabulary, word interpretation, and image recognition started to completion. No use fighting about it. By the time you get the National Security Agency to confirm this, I tell you, let alone people to start talking about stopping it, the government will already have recorded files on everyone in the states and will be starting on people in the rest of the world. We need to start thinking towards conclusion. The technology exists. Either we, the people, use it, or a terrorist will. Let's just make sure we're not the terrorists. They shoot me a message, I think back and answer, all in the middle of a conversation with someone without skipping a beat. I would have to tell them I was in a conversation with someone else for them to know otherwise. For accountability, there are multiple reasons for an intricate web of audio, video, key imaging, and night sight surveillances. Some businesses for my information, some offering businesses, people there for their offerings, people recording their own part of the movie of the church, those for a free America with the last corruption candlestick, and the presidential program hedge of protection, web lures to the candlesticks. Nothing to hide here. Come join the green field for your reason. And don't forget your camera.